is Ben Schueren, Sports Extravaganza, coming back to you live here on Wednesday, August the 1st, the first day of the month. For most of you guys, you got a few weeks till you go back to school. And more importantly, we are the heart of the NASCAR season, getting ready to go to the chase. And we're about a few weeks away from the kickoff of college football season. So let's get started. Our topic is probably going to be Indianapolis, the restart. Obviously, Elliott Sadler got robbed of a race, the nationwide race, and then, of course, then apparently the Brickyard 400 was a snoozer of a race, so that wasn't good. I'll talk about if we should go back to Brickyard, Indianapolis Raceway, next year. I know it's Motor Speedway. Sorry about that. Um, and I may talk a little bit about AJ Allmendinger and what his future would be at Penske. So let's get started. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the inaugural race, nationwide race there. Elliott Sadler was running second when Brad Keselowski was spun his tires when Sam Hornish got in the back of him to try and push him down the straightaway. He passed him before the start. NASCAR gave him the black flag, but he could not slow down and give Keselowski the spot back because Austin Dillon was pushing him. So um, Sadler had to serve the black flag. He lost the race. Keselowski went on to win, and a Penske won to finish. So, um, this has brought up a lot of discussion in NASCAR's restart policy. It's not the first time this year someone's been robbed of a race because of a restart. Remember in Richmond where Carl Edwards had a black flag because Tony Stewart, he was in second though, but Tony Stewart spun his tires, which backed him off, which had NASCAR looked at it, and Carl Edwards actually jumped the start by like just a little bit, which was pretty dumb penalty, and it's really just ruined Carl Edwards' season. So um that's definitely been a changer in momentum for him. He hasn't won. He's not in the chase. He's I guess having the hangover, the second place hangover, but really he tied it for the win. Tony Stewart just won the tiebreaker because he had the most wins. So with that, I think they should change the NASCAR rule policy. I mean, obviously NASCAR has to be consistent with their penalties. Example with the Greg Biffle Daytona penalty, where he couldn't have stopped and gotten out of there. He could have drove through, but obviously when pit road's closed, NASCAR's gotta show some consistency. I know that's a shock, but they have to, and they had to penalize them. So you don't have other people complaining saying, we did something, well, we had the same situation, someone else has that situation, and they let him go, he gets the lead, wins the race, all of a sudden someone else has that, they penalize him, they go arguing about this, and it brings up all this stuff that you don't need in a NASCAR race. So, uh, I think, NASCAR's policy should be, they pretty much, it's gotta be reviewable. They gotta take better looks at it, or they gotta, like, tell people what to do. I know giving the spot back was gonna be pretty hard for Sadler, because he get most likely, if he would have, he was so far ahead of Brad Keselowski, if he would have gave the spot back to Keselowski, Hornish probably would have passed him too, so, NASCAR, it wasn't a good situation there. NASCAR's looks pretty dumb, in the fans' mind. I think, the passing someone before the line is a good rule, but they gotta kind of give some flexibility in this. They had to, instead of being, the old tough guys, they gotta have, like, the officials have to step up and kind of look at it and see the situation. Like Sadler, um, I know I'm a Brad Keselowski fan, but Sadler did get robbed, and if that comes back, if he loses the championship, that may be the race that he lost it on, because I don't think it was Austin Dillon's fault, because he was getting pushed by Michael and that too. So I don't know. Other than that, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, both races I hear were snoozers. I didn't get the chance to watch a lot of Sunday's race. In fact, I only watched a little bit, but cause I'm on vacation right now. But I hear it was a snoozer, so it brings up the question: should we go back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway? I think we could give another race back to Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's an enjoyable race to watch. Um, I don't know why they took. I guess they took it away. This first race away from them because it wasn't getting good attendance. I think they should, maybe give a second race to, you know, maybe to Atlanta. But uh, other tracks we probably could just go to a new track. Maybe Iowa. That could be a new track we could try out. Even though they probably need to do some track repair to fix the bumps because the bumps are pretty bad there. So probably should do some track repairs there. And if they can do that, maybe repave it or something. I wouldn't be surprised if we go to Iowa or something because we're going there. The Nationwide Series is going there this weekend. Well, the Cup Series is in Pocono, so it'll be interesting to see. So, but anyway, the passing is bad. I actually think, um, you know, maybe we should stay there because it's such a historical event. I mean, NASCAR's been to some of the best tracks in the world. Obviously, most of them being ovals, but still, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is, it's got to be in the top 5 tracks in the world. Daytona's got to be in there too, uh, uh, but in that sense, Indianapolis has to be, no matter the passing. I mean, of course, it's not going to be good passing. The track was built for Indy cars, open wheel racing, where you don't pass a lot. But I think the stock cars actually handle it better than the Indy cars because every wreck this year was someone got into the little gravel trap, which is only like a little strip of gravel. They get into that and they spin. Obviously, that's how Takuma Sato took himself out on the last lap of the Indy 500. But uh, NASCAR, you can clip the grass and you'll be fine. So in that sense, NASCAR can handle it better. But it's such a narrow track. It'd be like going to like St. Petersburg, like some of the street courses, we wouldn't handle it that good because, those street courses are built for the Indy cars. Sometimes the Grand Am, even though the Grand Am, there's only one or two places you could pass with the Grand Am because the track's so narrow and those cars are so wide. But um, bottom line, we should stay at Indy. I would like to see him go back next year. I don't know. I don't even think it's in question for NASCAR because it gets good TV ratings. It gets good attendance because it's an Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I mean, they had that super weekend where they had the Grand Am, Nationwide Series, and the Sprint Cup Series run in 3 days. So that's a pretty cool deal they have there. I know they used to have like somewhat of a super weekend at Daytona where they'd have the Nationwide Series run on Friday. This is the July race, by the way. Nationwide race on Friday. They'd run the Grand Am on Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday evening they'd run the Sprint Cup Series. So I guess that's kind of a super weekend, but they should keep the super weekend thing. It's good for tickets and it brings in a lot of money and revenue for NASCAR. So AJ Allmendinger, uh, they said again he just failed it. Unless you lived under a rock, you pretty much have heard he's failed his drug test for an amphetamine, which Tara Reagan, the president or whatever for Walmendinger Incorporated, said it was a stimulant when it was really an amphetamine. She said the term was too broad, so I hope this doesn't go bad. But if it does, I feel bad for AJ Allmendinger because he's such a good guy. But sometimes good guys aren't the people they're supposed to be. Um, but I think Penske was supposed to meet with AJ either yesterday or today, sometime this week, to discuss the future. If he's been fired, they've told they're gonna keep him. I apologize for my mistake. But I assume that Roger Penske will be letting AJ Allmendinger know that he will not be returning to Penske for the rest of the year if he does get cleared. I don't think he will be racing this season. He'll probably be out for most of next season. So I think he's got a tough road ahead in NASCAR. I mean, he really missed a big opportunity with Penske Racing. He'd had top fives. He only had one, but still, he had chances with the road courses. He's decent at those. He showed strength at Talladega where he got taken out late blocking. Well, he didn't get taken out late, but he took out himself late by trying to block Denny Hamlin. But he's shown strength in that 22 car. So It was frustrating for him in the beginning of the season because he had such a good car and he wasn't getting the results. But uh, that's beyond me. I think Allmendinger will be fired. They'll move on. I think obviously there's been talks that Matt Kenseth may go to Penske, even though I think we're all certain that he will be driving the 20 car next year. Um, but there have been talks Joey Logano, maybe even Trevor Bayne in that car. My man Trevor Bayne. Well, he's not my man, but you get the idea. That's the guy who I want. Um, but quick college football update. I said in the beginning, my first podcast, I would be doing old college football. Starting in August, I'd probably tune off the NASCAR, maybe give you chase updates, but quick college football update. It's the Penn State actually. Running back Cyrus Red did transfer to USC after many considerations. Most of the team is sticking around, which is surprising because they had the option. They've all been released from the scholarships. They can go play wherever their heart wants to, and like start right away if they're good enough. But yes, Iris Red has gone to USC. I don't know if he's gonna be starting, but backup quarterback Rob Bolden. He's from Orchard Lake, Michigan. Close. He played for Orchard Lake St. Mary's High School in Michigan, which is near where I live. He's gonna be transferring to LSU, where he's a good place to get the starting job, because obviously Russell, I forget his name. Jordan Jefferson. Sorry about that. Jamarcus Russell. I was thinking about Jordan Jefferson and Jared Lee, or quarterback. They both left. I think they were seniors last year, so there's only one quarterback with playing time. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Rob Bolden will get the starting job, so LSU may be back next year. So that's gonna wrap it up from this show. Probably see you next week, next Wednesday. Uh, we have Pocono, Watkins Glen, Michigan, Bristol. Then I believe it's on to Atlanta and Richmond. So only a few more races till the chase gets started up, and we'll see you next week.